I don't know where this audio is coming from.
Is it me?
I guess it was me. Either way, Delta Airlines today has been shut down overnight. Shut down, and this is a worldwide shutdown based on a computer problem. And right, don't you really have to wonder? Is this some sort of computer terrorism? Is this something that was a hack? We don't know, but here's the story. Delta Airlines has grounded flights scheduled to leave today after experiencing unspecified issues with its computer systems globally. Confirmation of Monday's troubles came in an official account that responds to customers via Twitter. The airline declined to immediately comment by phone, and it was unclear whether all of its flights were affected, but it is all flights.
It is, yeah.
The flights that are currently in the air or currently in progress, those flights will be continuing and they'll follow their way through. However, any new flights going out today have been grounded. This is incredible. I mean, they're the second busiest airline in the world, and they have been grounded. Delta has experienced, this is the quote, has experienced a computer outage that has affected flight schedule for this morning. The Atlanta-based company tweeted to customers affected by delays. That tweet came just maybe about an hour ago, maybe a little more than an hour ago. Flights awaiting departure are currently delayed. Flights en route are operating normally. We appreciate your patience. The company said its IT systems were down everywhere, and hopefully it won't be much longer. Several applications were affected, including the company's website. Among those affected by the situation, this is a story on Fox News. Stephen Smith of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, had been stuck on the ground for about 3 hours at the airport in Tokyo, and was supposed to go to Shanghai. He took solace in the fact that the air conditioning on the plane was working and said it seemed that everyone on board was fine. So he was stuck on the plane as it was waiting to take off. Computer outages have caused major headaches for airlines and travelers before. Southwest Airlines was forced to cancel more than 2,000 flights in the U.S. last month after technology problems prevented many travelers from checking in or boarding flights. How does one glitch take out all of your computers worldwide?
Yeah, you have to think it's something bigger than just some type
glitch.
A glitch, yeah. And for how long? We don't know how long, right?
Well, right now, everything is grounded, and there's no word on when it's coming back.
Apparently, too, they were issuing boarding passes. They were writing them out. So, people were waiting, and then they would have their new boarding pass, and they couldn't even print out the actual boarding passes. There's NBC News retweeted a photo from somebody that's got a handwritten boarding pass.
Well, you wonder what it was like when flights were first in the late 1960s. Even then, I would imagine the boarding passes were printed out, right?
Right.
Even in the 60s, and imagine having a boarding pass that's handwritten.
I'm going to Mexico right now. Oh, look I've got it right here. Here it is.
Now, keep in mind, these stories tend to be stories that we look and they're all affecting us far away. But if you're planning a flight today and you are taking Delta, they're telling you what you should do, and maybe you're flying out of Syracuse or flying out of Albany. What they're telling you to do is to check in with the airline first or with the airport first to see what the status is of your flight. But you can only imagine if these are being delayed worldwide, you can only imagine the catch-up process has got to be incredible. Get the people that are just sitting in airports right now home or on their way is going to affect future flights coming up later this week. This is a disaster when you think about it.
I can't ever remember an airline shutting down global operations. I mean, maybe a storm or something in a regional area, but yeah, this is incredible.
This one is this is a biggie. Some other stories. We're talking about the story of the Kansas City, that water slide. Is there any word as to how did he fall out? They're really not releasing any details. These amusement parks don't like to release details until everything is done because people feel that the ride isn't safe. But clearly, how does somebody die on a ride like this?
There were unconfirmed reports this morning that it had something to do with, I guess he wasn't harnessed in. I'm not a big ride person, but I can't imagine on a water slide you have a harness. I don't think I've ever seen a water ride that has a harness on it. So,
well, this is a biggie.
It is.
This is tall. There's another story out there today in Oklahoma City. I don't know if you saw this, but it involves bees. The Oklahoma City Fire Department put out a tweet that said, please avoid the Walmart at 4900 South Sooner until we have the situation with the bees under control. Access to the parking lot is denied. They weren't letting people into the parking lot. 3 people hospitalized in Oklahoma City on Saturday after a swarm of 30 to 60,000 bees escaped a truck and stung passersby during they're calling it a bee deal gone wrong in a Walmart parking lot. Authorities say the bees were released during a failed exchange between a bee buyer and a bee seller. So you know how Walmart, it's a large parking lot, and they'll even open up their lot to campers, right? You're able to drive in the RVs, and people will spend the night there. And oftentimes you see. So in this case, I guess the guy's like, well, you bought all my bees. Where should we do the exchange? So, well, why don't we meet over at the Walmart parking lot? All right, perfectly fine. So as they were trying to make the exchange, this is when it happened. According to KOKH-TV, officials tell Fox 25 a person was selling 3 hives, each containing more than 10,000 bees, when one was dropped in a Walmart neighborhood parking lot Saturday morning. Thousands of bees swarmed into the air, and fire crews rushed to spray water in the area and distract the bees from people nearby. Beekeepers were called into the scene to manage, and they ultimately corralled the bees. And officials now say that the bee threat has passed. So you'd think the people that were selling, right, and buying would have some knowledge of how to corral the bees. I mean, they're bees, but apparently they didn't know what to do. And it was a really bad, stinging situation.